Hello, we are Ulises Ibarra, David Alvarado, and me, Mariana Nieto, and now we're going to talk about the automotive industry and also about the Kia company. The automotive industry is one of the most important but also most changing industries in the entire world. There are approximately 32 million workers in this industry. In 2019, there were 91 million cars produced and 90 million of them were sold. The forecast of sales for 2020 are of 60 million cars. So as we can see, there is a big decrease from 2019 to 2020. Since 2009, this industry has had a growth and stability. And in 2017, it reached its peak in sales. As we can see in the graph, there were 95.6 million of sales. But also, as we can see in the graph, in 2018 and in 2019, there was a decrease. And now we are going to explain the main possible causes of this decrease. The first one is the transition from NAFTA to the USMCA. This is an agreement between the US, Canada, and Mexico. And this is a main cause because the actual president of the US, Donald Trump, put more restrictions to the agreement so the country could get more benefits from it. The second possibility is the US and China commercial war. And the third possibility is the US withdrawals from the TPP, the Paris Agreement, and the Iran nuclear deal. According to Global Automotive Executive Survey, since 2017, there were 4 main trends identified, and they are battery electric mobility, cell electric mobility, hybrid electric mobility, and connectivity and digitalization. So it can be inferred that all of these trends are based in technology. The forecast in sales growth for passengers vehicles is of 1.2%, while the commercial vehicles is of 1.8%.
As my partner Mariana just said, these trends are based on technology. This technology can be divided into electrical and autonomous vehicles. In the electrical area, the governments and the vehicle makers are consolidating an EV market where the governments align to the Paris Agreement, this agreement that aims to reduce the air pollution. These governments are imposing or had imposed higher taxes to the oil-fueled cars, countries like China or Canada. Also, countries like the United Kingdom, France, Norway, or even India had established years to totally ban the oil-fueled car sales. In the autonomous area, the car makers are focusing more and more on the connected and the autonomous vehicles. These vehicles, these cars, are the ones that can be driven by themselves and that can be connected to other devices. To accomplish this, factors like the smart factories, the cybersecurity, or the 5G technology are key. The 5G technology can allow the cars to establish connections to other devices. And the cybersecurity is an important issue because of the cyber threats, because of more data and more technology. Now, focusing on the USMCA region, this region is the second region with more sales and more production in all the world, just below the Asian Pacific region where China leads it. In North America, in 2019, there were 20.2 million cars sold and 70 million car units produced. As you can see in the graphic, the United States possesses a huge market share. This is because from the 20 million, Just in United States were sold 70 million cars in 2019. 1.9 cars were sold in Canada and the remaining 1.3 in Mexico. A uniqueness characteristic from this region are the agreements. These agreements, first the NAFTA signed in 1992 and then the USMCA signed in 2018. These agreements allow the interconnectivity and the integrated supply chains that cross our borders several times. Even if there's a problem in one country, it can impact on the whole region. Now, talking about the Kia company, the Kia Motor Corporation is part of the Hyundai Motor Company as a subsidiary. Both companies are from South Korea. You can see this as brothers, where Hyundai is the big brother and Kia is the small brother. This brand is the leader in its home market, South Korea, and just Kia uh, has over 55 billion wons in assets. Wons is the currency of South Korea. For Kia competitiveness, the innovation is key. Kia, with or without its brother Hyundai, had accomplished innovative development like the hydrogen fuel cell that is in the Borrego car model. It's a prototype. The REACT system. This system allows the car to read the emotions, the driver's emotions, in order to adapt the cabin and the environment more comfortable to the driver. The V-Touch is a technology where in a screen you don't have to touch it to use it. Just the car can read your finger gestures or your eyes. And finally, the virtual reality. This technology is adapted to the development cycle, and it implies a smaller development time for a car model.
Now, approaching to know the more information of Kia and how this is supply chain established in this company, we also have to know how the supply chain works. First, we have the original equipment manufacturer, also known as OEM. This is defined as a company whose goods are used as components in another products, which then sell the finished item to users. In this case, the finished item are those cars. Where does this material come from? Tier 1 suppliers are companies that specifically supply parts or systems directly to OEMs. These providers usually work with a variety of automotive companies, like not only Kia, it can be Audi, Volkswagen, and Tesla, other companies. In turn, Tier 2 provide companies like Tier 1 in materials such as small components. And it can be electronic boards that it helps to build components such as radios, screens, among others. The most essential and important is a Tier 3, which is in the base of all these global chains. This distributes the most basic raw material of the automotive industry, and it can be steel, it can be glass, or other examples. Now, my colleague Mariana will explain in more detail how we can observe the OEMs in the world, but specifically in Kia company.
Okay, so according to Automotive News, the top 3 global suppliers in 2019 were Robert Bosch, which sold $46.5 million of dollars. Then we have Denso Corp, which sold $41.8 million. And then we have Magna International, which sold $39.4 million. This company is an important supplier for Kia. They produce chassis, exterior parts, mirrors, etc. As I explained before, there was a decrease in 2018 and in 2019 of car sales. So these companies also had a decrease on their sales. Another supplier for Kia are Hyundai Mobis. This company is in charge of assembling the chassis. Then we have PowerTech America, that this is in charge of producing the transmissions. Then we have Globis America, that they do the final preparation work, such as underbody coating. And also, as Ulises mentioned before, Kia is a South Korean company. So they also have suppliers from South Korea, such as Dongwon Auto Part Technology and Sewon America.
Now, we mentioned before that the USMCA treaty has made a big change in the industry, but also COVID-19 has impacted drastically the industry. Regarding the actions to be taken to comply with the labor content by the USM region to Kia, Horacio Chavez, director of Kia Motors Mexico, mentioned that the company doesn't have a public position since they are restrictive issues, but they are preparing to comply with the treaty. Until 2019, Kia operated with an average of 59% of the regional content in its vehicles, and currently they are preparing to meet the requirements of this new treaty also, and continue to maximize the production capacity and their sales volume in the regions. As we can see in the map before, after, Kia has a dependence of US market since 2019 from 85% to 57% of its productions. This is still the largest buyer of vehicles in the regions, with Canada ranking the second place with 12% of exports for this year. By the other side, the company has been expanding to new regions in order to achieve greater growth and depend less on some regions, as we can see on the map, that have a large percentage of the total sales of the company, and a minimal change could drastically affect the performance of the company. Finally, according to the president of the Mexican Association of the Automotive Industry, the USMCA guaranteed an extra 2 years for the transition to those companies that are about to start or recently started, so the time in which the company can be established under those standards is favorable and achieve benefit for both parts of the company and the USMCA regions. It is important to mention that Kia also has been established in North America few years ago. So Kia could have access to those benefits.
And just before we end, it is important to remember that the automotive industry is one of the and more changing industries, like my colleague Mariana previously said. In order to this fact, Kia has to establish all its innovative and strategic efforts to not just enter in one market. Kia has to enter in all the new markets, because when one market is low, one market can be high. This can be very helpful to the company